Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Tonight we're going to be working some more on my new product, SaturnCI, which is a CI platform. Here is current status. So I have Saturn running on itself. So here's kind of the dashboard. And something that okay, so let me back up. I started building this because I've been using CircleCI for over 10 years on and off, and I've been using GitHub Actions a bit lately. And I'm really not happy with either of them because there's certain things that should be easy that just aren't. Like, for example, when a test suite fails, what's your number one question immediately? I'm asking you guys.
Uh, where and why?
Yeah, what failed? It's like obviously. And with both CircleCI and GitHub Actions, you have to like dig a little bit in order to find it. It's like that's so dumb. So like with mine, this is not the finished product, of course, because I've just been working on this for not that long. But if you click on this failed test suite here, what you get is front and center. You see all your tests and the test that failed. The Yeah, that's kind of small, sorry. Um, the vision is that you can see this, and maybe ideally it would be sorted so you see the failures on top. And then it'd be nice if you'd click on the failure and you see the details here, along with any artifacts. Like with GitHub Actions, it's crazy. If you want to see a screenshot of what failed, you have to go to a different place and download a zip file, then unzip the zip file and open up the images from the zip file. If you have like 3 failed tests, you'll have 3 images, which you have to sort through and figure out what matches up to what. And it's like, this is crazy. Just give me the screenshot right next to the failure. So there's certain things like that which were the impetus for me wanting to build this product.
I
Okay.
really like the times there,
Yeah,
the runtime. I feel like that's super helpful.
for real.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're trying to speed up your test suite and you can see what the biggest culprits are, I mean,
Oh yeah.
it would be nice to know that.
Yeah. I that didn't even occur to me. So I didn't know if that was a joke or for real. Apparently for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how useful it'd be, but that's what popped into my head.
Yeah. Um, so I'm trying to be as economical as I can with the development of this product because I'm just one guy. I already have too much on my plate. I arguably shouldn't even be doing this. And so again, I want to be as economical as possible. And so I'm really letting the usage guide my development. I don't want to build anything speculatively and be like, well, it might be nice to have this. I want to use my own product and pay attention to where it hurts and only build the things that are really painful not to have. Also, I don't want it to just be myself. I want to have real customers as soon as possible and respond to their pains, which brings me to what we're going to be working on today. Um, one of my consulting clients said we can use this on his project for a free trial type thing. And so, wait, you raised your hand, Ryan.
I also volunteer.
Oh, oh, well, great. 2 of my consulting clients. Um, yeah, Harry was the other one, Ryan. And so earlier today, I tried to get him set up on it, and we just crashed and burned immediately. Um, so that makes me really glad that I tried to get somebody else set up on it before I went further myself, because it turns out you can sign up for it as an individual, but not as an organization. So I'll show
Mm,
you guys what I mean a little bit if I can.
yeah, I'm gonna have that problem too.
Mm-hmm. Probably most people would. Um, so you can install Saturn as an individual. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is exactly what I want to show you guys. So my repos that I've been testing are under my name personally, and that works fine. But what I can't do is install Saturn under an organization. And so my client earlier tried to install it and he did it under his organization, which has to be the way it is because that's where his repo is. But it didn't work because apparently that doesn't work the same and blah, blah, blah.
Did he try it to do it? So like I know with mine, even though we have an organization account, like I log in with my personal account. I'm wondering if that would, I still have access to all the same repos. Does it matter?
I believe it does matter
Mm.
because there's the authentication and then there's the app installation. So you can
Ah,
authenticate. When you authenticate, you always authenticate as you. But then when you install Saturn into GitHub, you install it to a particular place. And the problem is right now, Saturn can only be installed to one place. Like, even if it could be installed to an organization, you would have to like pick because there's like only one there's only one slot in Saturn for like a GitHub ID.
right.
Yeah. And so I think the way it needs to be, instead of saying, I'm going to install Saturn, period, it's I'm going to install Saturn to this place. And then you can have, I'm going to install it to my personal GitHub. I'm going to install it to this organization and so on. So the management of it needs to be a little bit more sophisticated than it is right now. And what I don't even know yet, and what I was going to go through the process of figuring out on this video is how do I model this? So let's think about this a little bit. And I'm not afraid of getting it wrong because even if I get it wrong and I have to redo some work and there's some waste involved, I'm okay with that. This might be the kind of thing where it's just impossible to get it right on the first try. But I'm going to click install Saturn again. So it goes to here. And if I click Ben Franklin Labs, I get the opportunity to install it. Or if I click myself personally, I think it might have already installed it. And I kind of winced there because that creates work for me to, to then uninstall it. But let's see what happened. Okay, it looks like it did not install it. So that just works a little bit different. I guess I would have to do save in order for it to get installed. Okay. And here, I feel like it's a little more clear. There's an actual install button. Okay, but anyway, I can install it personally or I can install it as an organization. Um, but I think instead of only being able, like conceivably, I think I could have it so you just install it, period, and you can pick an organization or you can install it personally, and either one works and you just pick one. But that seems potentially limiting because what if I belong to two organizations? Like, what if I want to use this for work and I want to use it on a personal project that's in a different organization or something? Or what if I'm a freelancer and I work for multiple clients? It seems
Are
like I
you
need that flexibility. Uh-huh.
are you thinking that you want to solve this problem on your end versus like it sounds like maybe there's the opportunity to install it globally on GitHub based on your comments, but that wasn't clear. But are you just looking to sort of add, multiple, projects or workspaces on in your SaturnCI app?
Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there is a way to install it globally on GitHub.
Okay.
The installation permission seems to be on an organization by organization basis.
So just to be clear what the problem is here, like you could hit
Mhm.
click on Ben Franklin Labs and hit install and it will work, but it will disconnect your Jason Sweat account at the same time because you only can store the one connection. Is that
No, right now, if you try to do it like this, it just plain doesn't work at all. GitHub will install it, but then Saturn won't know about it. The
and
because the GitHub callback sends a different structure and Saturn doesn't know how to read it.
okay, so the one of the issues is the webhook, I assume, or whatever it is, has a
Yeah,
different structure for organizations than it does. So it just crashes when the webhook fires or is
exactly.
received. Okay.
Yeah. But
So I mean,
then
there's two things you
mhm.
could try to solve is we could try to solve the webhook problem,
Mhm.
or you could try to figure out how you want to model it, right? You're trying to solve the modeling piece.
Yeah, really I need to ultimately address both of those things. But I think I want to at least step back and think about the modeling first because I would hate to solve that technical problem of parsing the payload correctly and then realize that once I did that technical work, I didn't didn't do the big picture design in a way that made sense.
So what are the models in your app now?
Good question. Let's take a look. So I have this one called Saturn installations. And as you can see, each Saturn installation has a user ID and a GitHub installation ID.
Um, and unless I'm missing something, there's no association between Saturn installation and project, or is there? I don't see a foreign key.
No, there's not. Yeah, you're correct about that.
So one potential solution to add to the consideration set would just be that every project has a Saturn installation and you can have multiple projects within SaturnCI. Then you have a one-to-one sort of relationship.
Well, what I'm realizing is that Saturn installations has a user ID. It's not that users has a Saturn installation ID. And so even under the current database schema, we could have multiple installations per user.
Right. Yeah. So this is a question of how, like, what is a project here? Right. To me, it feels like project is, I don't understand what that model is at the moment.
Well, that maps to a GitHub repo. Um, and an organization may have any number of GitHub repos. So it's like you have a Saturn
Got it.
installation, and then under that you might have any number of repos. So the database structure supports multiple installations. It's just that the UI isn't designed for multiple installations. Okay. Well, let me look at the routes. How are we doing that right now for the Saturn installations? Oh, there's no routes for Saturn installations. Okay. So I don't know how I'm going to want the UI to ultimately go, but I could just kind of build some CRUD functionality for Saturn installations. So let me do that. Okay. Resources, Saturn installations. Okay. Yep. Uninitialized constant Saturn installations controller. Not surprising. Okay. Oh, I didn't name this file correctly. Okay, no index. Let's add an index. No template. Let's add a template. And is the user going to know what is meant by installations? I don't know. Um, I think probably not. And so that's going to have to be addressed. But first, I want to get the mechanics of it figured out before I worry about that too much. Okay. So right now on the projects page, I have this new link, install Saturn. So I think I want to do something a little bit different. And I just want to say new installation. Okay. Okay. And for some reason, I feel the need to make sure all my tests still pass right now. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I can see that they don't. Okay. I think I might have left behind. Yeah. Okay. I had some uncommitted changes from earlier. This, by the way, is the difference in those two payloads. This is how the personal one works. This is how the organization one works. So I actually do want to keep this commented code because I'm gonna use that in a minute, and I don't want to forget what it is. Okay, so all my tests pass now. Okay, I'm gonna commit what I've done here. Um, I'm gonna do it on a new branch. I'm gonna call it multiple installations. Okay. And on Saturn here, we should see a new build getting kicked off. So we'll check on that in a minute. Okay. So just curious, if we click new installation, I assume, yep, it'll take us here. Okay. And right now we see no installations, but that's not necessarily right. I should say Saturn installations equals um, current user dot Saturn installations. Okay. Um, Saturn installations dot each. Hmm. I don't even remember what attributes it has. Hmm. Basically, it just has the GitHub installation ID, not very meaningful for somebody to look at. So maybe we'll want to add more attributes to that. Okay. Okay, so apparently right now I have no installations. I'm going to do this. Um, if Saturn installations.any, then we show them. Otherwise, we say none. Okay. That makes it a little bit clearer. And in fact, I'm going to say no installations. Okay. I'm going to commit that after I run my tests. The test suite is still small enough that it's practical to run the whole thing locally. And just for fun, I'm actually going to go ahead and install it. Okay. And it'd be nice if it somehow redirected me back to Saturn, but it doesn't. And it says there are no installations. I don't know if that's actually true. Okay. Yeah, there are 0 Saturn installations. Did something go wrong? Okay, I see this error. Okay. Couldn't find project. That doesn't seem all that relevant. And also, it seems like if an installation fails, it should fail more gracefully than that. But maybe we don't want to deal with that yet. Okay, GitHub events controller line 35. Let's see if there's anything interesting there. Oh, that might be from something other than this installation. Okay, let's do this. Let's uninstall Saturn from GitHub. Uninstall. And actually, maybe it was already installed and that's why it didn't install just now. And I'm going to make an installations link so I don't have to keep typing it in. Okay. New installation. Yeah, we didn't see the screen before, I don't believe. Okay, that did redirect. Okay, and now under installations, I see this. And I'm going to change this to be a little bit clearer. Well, first I'm going to commit this. Okay, so Saturn installations, index. I'm going to make this a table. Okay, and I'm going to add a heading. And what exactly is this? GitHub installation ID. Okay. Hmm. That is quite a wide table, but I'm okay with that, I guess.
Hey, Jason,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still confused as to what project is in this app. Could you say that again? Like I'm
Oh
looking at the
yeah.
UI and it's just not clear like where it comes into play.
It maps to a repo.
And that's important because like you're not you're connected to something, right? Does it
Yeah.
not matter that you have a like if you go to projects index right now, nothing's listed, right? So like where does
So on staging here,
oh
I do have two projects installed. So I have SaturnCI and one called Books. So I can like switch between my two projects here.
got it. Okay, I didn't see that before. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but now if I were to do new installation, it wouldn't work, and it especially wouldn't work if I did it for an organization. So let's take a look and see what we need to do. This is where the installation happens. I don't like the name of this method, but maybe that's neither here nor there right now.
Are you sure it doesn't work?
Am I sure?
That
Um,
connecting a second one because you're just calling create.
oh, maybe I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. Um, but I don't have a second one to do that's not an organization, and I know an organization won't work. But I think that might be relatively easy to fix. Okay, so I forget which test it is, so I'm going to change this because I know if I change it, that test will fail. And so I can find that test by doing that. Okay, create Saturn installation spec. That is an appropriate name. Okay, so I need to change this test because right now it's basically assuming one kind of installation, and I need to have one for each kind. So I'm going to do context. I'll say personal installation or personal account. I'm not sure the terminology. We might come back and change this later. And then we'll have another context of organization. Okay, and this payload for an organization is going to be a bit different. Okay, so I'm going to put a binding.pry here, and I'm going to actually go through the process of installing an organization and see what we get. Okay, so this is the payload. There's a lot of stuff there. It includes both relevant and irrelevant information. But I'm going to grab like all of it. Okay, so I have it all the way through target type. Oh, okay. I have it through has multiple single files. Okay. Okay, and I have it through events URL. Oh, there's not much more. Okay, let's see if I can fix the indentation. That still looks not right, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm going to run this and see what happens. My guess is that it will fail. Indeed, it does, but not for the reason I expected. Couldn't find user. Okay. Okay. So I think for this other one, we made the user ID match this user's ID. Um, but we didn't do it for this other one. By the way, this is kind of confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna change it to something distinctly different. And this does still pass, right? No, it doesn't. Okay, why not? Couldn't find user. Interesting. Is it because I changed that number? It absolutely is. Oh, yeah, okay. So I was even getting confused already. So that's a good choice to change this. Okay, so maybe that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, so I want my account ID to be 5 5s. Okay, do we get anything different when we run this now? Okay, interesting. Okay, so was it a string in one case and an integer in the other case? Because that seems kind of weird. Okay, so that passes. Very interesting. I'm surprised that that passes. Installation account ID. Okay. GitHub account ID.
Well, if the
Okay.
error was really just the string versus integer and everything else has the same structure, then you'd be okay.
It does have a GitHub account ID. Oh, you know what? I bet the GitHub. Yeah. I think this is it. The GitHub account ID is something different. Okay. I deceived myself. Sender ID. This is what needs to be the 5 5s. And now this will not pass. Right. Couldn't find user. Okay. So just to be clear about what just happened, when you install the app as an organization, it buries the ID of the user. And you need the user's ID, not the organization's ID, in order to get your hands on the user who has authenticated. Because you authenticate as yourself, but then you might install it as an organization, but you still need it tied to your user. I hope I'm explaining this okay. I don't feel like I am. Ryan, does that make sense? I feel like you wouldn't bullshit me if it didn't make sense.
I think it does, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So to make that test pass, we can just comment out one line and uncomment the other. Okay, and it has to be a string. Okay, but then of course the other test will fail. So we need a way of detecting which kind it is. So we want to say if it's an organization, do this. Otherwise, do this. Whoops. But how do we know if it's an organization or not? I see this thing called type organization. That seems like a decent clue. Okay, so it's under installation. Or is it? Maybe I made a mistake.
I think you're right. It's installation account. Can't tell if there's a log in there. I think it's account. Yeah, just installation account type.
Okay. Okay. You're better at this part than me. Okay. Now let's run this test again and see if it passes. Okay, now let's run both tests. And they both pass. Now, if we sign in, yeah, we just have one installation because that last installation failed. But in order to do that again, we need to uninstall it, I think. So I'm going to uninstall. I'm going to go back to Saturn. New install. And will it work? Hey, it appears to have worked.
Um,
Okay. I'm going to see if my whole test suite passes. Wonderful. And so what did I do? Whoa, added a bunch of white space. I don't like that, but also I'm going to blow the vast majority of this away anyway, so I'm not even going to bother to fix that. Um, I made it possible to install the app as an organization. Okay, and how are we doing over here? Are things passing? Looks like it. Okay. Um, Now there needs to be like a hierarchy. There should be projects under installations. So it should really be like, hmm. What happens if we do add project? Okay, okay. This is funny. It's still like the default Rails, that thing. Let's see how this works. Oh, sorry, but first, let's clean up some of this thing that we just did. Which test was this? GitHub events controller test. Okay, GitHub events controller. Oh yeah, it was called like Saturn installation spec or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so again, we don't need the vast majority of this, and so we can get rid of it. So I'm gonna blow away all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we can blow away probably all this stuff. Perhaps not. I think I made a formatting error. Okay. Let's blow away some of this stuff. Okay. Okay, great. Um, Not done yet. Whoa, there's a lot of white space there. Um, NP is asking, is there a way to get the recording? Absolutely. I'll be uploading this to YouTube after we're done. By the way, welcome and thanks for being here. Okay. I'm gonna try to format this. Okay. I'm not gonna format it that way. Maybe I actually will. All right. This is a job for a computer, not me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and say, format this nicely. Format this Ruby hash for me nicely, just in case it doesn't realize that it's a Ruby hash.
All right, you're glad you remembered to ask ChatGPT here.
I really am.
Mhm.
Okay. Just gonna make sure nothing was lost in that step. Okay, everything's still fine. Um, I don't think we need this or this. Or even this or this. I don't think we need any of this. We do need some of this. And I'm going to keep a little bit of this stuff, even though it's not strictly necessary. Okay, that's small enough where I can look at it and kind of understand it. Okay. I'm going to say,
GG equals G will also format a file in Vim.
sorry, say it again, Nelson.
If you type in lowercase gg and then the equal sign and then capital G to go to the end of the file, it'll format the whole file.
Oh, okay, hang on a second. Cleanup, test, payload. Are you talking about like doing this, Nelson? Like selecting the whole thing and then hitting equals?
Yeah, so that you don't need to have ChatGPT do it.
Yeah, I tried that, but unfortunately, the grouping of the lines was such that Vim wasn't capable of formatting it nicely.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Um, okay. Okay. So, and there's maybe even something else I wanted to do before we move on. GitHub events controller. I don't really like this handle installation event, handle push event stuff. Maybe I want to restructure this. Hmm. You know, maybe I want something. Maybe this feels like a more appropriate place for this to go. And I can say like Saturn installation something or other. What am I doing? It's like we're taking a GitHub response. Hmm. Maybe I don't want this here. Maybe I want something like it's like a GitHub installation. Is it a GitHub installation event? A GitHub installation payload? A GitHub installation response? Hmm. That doesn't feel right. Maybe it's just a
Just
GitHub.
call it a handler.
But handler's so meaningless.
I'm just kidding.
GitHub installation. Oh, but then it's like, what's a GitHub installation? What's a Saturn installation? You know what? Maybe the pain is just not severe enough to drive me toward something that's clearly better. So I'm just going to live with this. for the foreseeable future. Okay. Now, how does this work? Project integrations. Wow. This looks nasty. Weird. Okay. Current user.github installation ID. What's that? Okay, look at this. This is what I was after. Saturn installations.first.github installation ID. So we're just arbitrarily grabbing the first Saturn installation, which was fine when there only happened to be one, but now that there's two, that's not fine anymore. Yeah. So maybe we say there's no longer any such thing as a user.github installation ID. And now we have to do Saturn installations / the Saturn installation ID. In other words, project integrations are nested inside Saturn installations. Okay. Okay. So now, I don't think I want this. Oh yeah, that's fine to have the new installation link there, but I want to have like an add project link. Okay. Oops. Not going to have it go anywhere just yet. Okay, now we have this add project link, which currently doesn't go anywhere. But we want it to go to Saturn installation project, new Saturn installation project path, Saturn installation. That might be what we want. Apparently not. There's no did you mean type thing. Project integration. Oh, I don't have the word integration on here. Okay. Okay, and I'm not surprised that that doesn't work. Okay, but we have Saturn installations, blah, blah, blah. Project integrations new. So we have to go to the project integrations controller. And instead of current user.github installation ID, we want Saturn integration.github installation ID. And we want to say Saturn installation equals Saturn installation.find params Saturn installation ID. That's taking a long time, perhaps because there are a lot of projects. Okay, project integrations path. So this needs to be not project integrations path, but Saturn installations project integrations path. And we need to pass the Saturn integration ID. Okay, Saturn integration ID, Saturn integration.id. Let's split this onto multiple lines so we can see everything. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, not Saturn integration ID.id, Saturn integration.id. And while we're at it, I'm going to say new project integration. We'll fix that header. Okay. Saturn installations. I think I did that wrong. It's should be Saturn installation project integrations path, I think. There we go. And so now we can add SaturnCI itself. Okay. What is this? We have another current user.github installation ID, project integrations controller line 20. Okay. So I think again, we want to grab the Saturn integration. And is this just the same exact thing repeated? It looks like it is. Okay. SaturnCI. Okay. So evidently that was successful. But let's do a push and see what happens. I want to clean up this duplication, but not right at the moment. Get project integration working. And when I push that, do I see stuff come through? I see 500 internal server error. Okay. Undefined method, GitHub installation ID for user, not surprising. App models build line 51. By the way, is stuff still passing here? Looks like it is. I'm going to refresh the page. Okay. Okay. Project.user.github installation ID. We can't get it that way anymore. We'll have to get it through the Saturn installation. Oops. But I don't know if a project has a Saturn installation. I don't think it does. It absolutely does not. So let's add that to it. We have to wrap up soon. Projects. We want to add a Saturn installation reference to projects. Okay. All right. See you later, Ryan. Okay. And I can't set null to false because we already have projects. Okay, but everything else is fine. Okay. And so we have to retroactively set that one. We just have one project. And we do have two Saturn installations, so I got to make sure to put this in the right one. It would be nice to have a little bit of info about it, wouldn't it? That'll be a mental note for next time. But it must be, I'm just going to grab it. Yeah, here we go. Must be this. Okay. So I'll say p.saturn. We have to reload. Whoops. Okay. Equals project out first. P.saturn installation ID equals this. Okay. Oh, and so now that change we made in build should work. I should never say that. That change we made in build might work. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to do another push and see what happens. Add projects dot Saturn installation ID. Okay, looks like new 500 errors. Undefined method Saturn installation. Yeah, we have to add belongs to Saturn installation. Okay, did we get, I think we got a 200 just now, if I'm not mistaken. So now if we go to here, hey, okay, we have a new build going, apparently. Okay. So if we go to projects now, it doesn't work though. I think we want to have projects underneath installations. I don't know if this is going to be like a thing we can do in just a couple minutes or if this needs to be something for next time. And I'm curious if all the tests are even passing. Ha! Not even close. Okay. What is this all about? Okay, interesting. New project integration path. Oh, that's because I took away those routes. Okay, I should have been running the test suite more often. Okay. So, wait, I'm confused actually. Why are we getting these errors? Oh, new project integration path. Yeah, I'm linking that in projects index. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, does anything go away when we do that? Okay, expected to find text add project. Okay. I'm just going to start at the bottom here. Sign up spec. What doesn't it like about that? Spec to define text add project. Oh, okay. Let's look for projects instead. Okay, let's run the whole test suite. Spec models build spec. Saturn installation must exist. Okay. Yeah, I see. So you can't make a build without a Saturn installation. That should be, no, you can't make a project without a Saturn installation. And then do we have, looks like we have a Saturn installation factory. Okay. So we'll say Saturn installation. Do any of those failures go away? No. We get something different. User must exist. That might be coming from this. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, we fixed our tests. I do want to do one more thing. I want to see if we can add a project from this other installation. Looks like the answer is no. And I don't know why, but we can't. But that'll probably have to be a project for next time. Okay, and this failed unsurprisingly because almost everything fails. And then, of course, I expect to see this pass. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining me for that. I feel like I'm only realizing now, but I feel like I went really fast on everything. But hopefully it was still followable. At least we got the YouTube video, so if anybody wants to see it, and if anybody wants to see it again, they can. Before we go, any comments, questions, anything like that?
I was curious if this is out of scope, but I was wanting to know more. Do you have any reference for your setup, the Vim and Tmux?
Oh yeah, good question. Actually, my most popular YouTube video for some reason is
Goes through that?
It's called My Vim Setup for Rails.
Perfect.
I don't remember if it involves Tmux
Okay, good.
also, but yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find that.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Yeah. By the way, I always like to ask people, Nathan, where are you located?
I'm in Navasota, Texas. It's right outside of Texas A&M, which is College Station.
Okay, yeah.
It's about an hour west of Houston.
Okay, I used to live in
Yeah.
Austin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Think I'm about 2 to 3 hours from there, maybe 2.5. Yeah.
I left Texas in 2007. No, I left Texas in 2009, and I haven't had good barbecue since.
Where are you at? What state are you in now?
Michigan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that explains it.
Yeah, because if
Not
you had
even
gone
close.
to like Tennessee or North Carolina, you could have a different, style.
Yeah, different barbecue.
But I don't know about
Not the
Michigan.
same though.
In the north, we just don't have it. We just don't. Yeah. Anyway, thanks guys. See you next time.
See ya.
See you.